Welcome to Fun and Games Side Quests. Every episode is a different host sharing a video game they love and why they love it.
Hello, party people. I'm Andre, and I'm the host of Fine Time, a fun little video game podcast I do with my friends Steve and Kevin. I also do a show called Neo Geo Go, where me and my pal Aaron discuss a Neo Geo game every week in 20 minutes or less. But today, I'm here by myself to talk about Wonder Boy 3, The Dragon's Trap, for the Sega Master System. And like most American kids in the 80s, I did not have a Master System growing up. I knew a couple of family members who did, so I'm reasonably familiar with the library, but neither of them had Wonder Boy 3. This means I didn't play this game until my young adulthood, when I was experimenting with emulation on Dreamcast, burning ROMs and emulators to CDs to run off the Dreamcast system, so I could play old video games in the comfort of my own room instead of at the stupid clunky computer in the living room. And I played Wonder Boy 3 on the recommendation of a friend at the time who was a huge Sega head. Like, he kept telling me how good it was. It was one of his favorite games ever. And so I was like, okay, sure, I'll give it a go. And so I played it, and it didn't take long for me to also believe it was one of my favorite games ever. That's how highly I think of Wonder Boy 3, The Dragon's Trap. If I'm making a list of, let's say, my top 20 games of all time, this game is almost certainly in there. So I guess I should address the elephant in the room right off the bat here. Everyone who knows me knows that I can't stand the term Metroidvania. I hate it. It is the worst. I did an entire solo episode on Fine Time, where I ranted how much I hate this term for like 40 minutes. And this is a short show here, and I don't have time to go into the reasons why I hate the term, but just know that I hate the word Metroidvania, okay? That being said, Wonder Boy 3 is often called one of those games, but I don't really think that it is. It kind of is, but it also really isn't. Because, yes, you do get new powers, or in this case, transformations that let you access new areas and do new things that you couldn't get to before. Okay, sure. But when it comes to level design, it really doesn't give you that large interconnected map like those games do. Because what you really do in Wonder Boy 3 is that you go one direction until you reach the end of that direction. And then there's often like a door or whatever to warp you right back to town. And the town serves as a hub area. It's a real tentacle-like octopus design, if you will. You know what I mean? If anyone's played Metroid Prime 4 recently, it's almost designed like that in a way. Love it or hate it. So yeah, Wonder Boy 3 isn't really that formula. It's adjacent to it, but it's not that thing. Because, if someone back in the day were really into Metroid and Rygar for NES, as I was, surely I would have been into Wonder Boy 3, but it wouldn't have scratched that same itch, But what it does scratch is my thirst for exploration, because, boy howdy, this game has it, and it has a lot of it. There's forests, there's temples, there's under the sea, there's stuff in the sky. This game has everything, and it really encourages you to just kind of spelunk around and see what's out there, but not aimlessly. That's the cool part about the tentacle design, is that you're always basically going forward while still at the same time having a very good exploratory time. And those two things sound like they can't coexist, but I promise they do, and it actually works. And the biggest thing that feeds into that is that the transformations your character can do, as I mentioned before. So you start the game as the titular Wonder Boy, but then you get cursed and turned into a dragon lizard thing. Then later you become the mouse man, who's like half as big as the other characters, so he can get into like tight spaces that are 1 block tall, as well as walk on certain floors and ceilings, so you can get to places that you couldn't get to before. So that opens up the exploration. And then from there, you find the Piranha Man, who can swim underwater really well, which again leads to new areas that you can explore, so on and so forth, right? Each of these character transformations are very cool and, quite honestly, expertly designed and like perfectly animated. But remember, it is a Master System game, so it's not going to blow you away with like tons of animation frames or like super duper impressively detailed sprites or anything. It's not an exceptional game in terms of technology, but the characters have all the correct details to really stick in your mind in a way that you won't forget them. Because, like, in between, I would say I played this game in like 2000, maybe 2001. And in between that and like when the remake came out in 2017, I basically remembered everything about the game. I didn't forget anything. You know, it really stuck in my brain. I forget a lot about a lot of games that I haven't played for a long time, but this wasn't one of them. But yeah, so you know how I knew how this game was going to be cool, like immediately? It was the fact that the enemies have these unique animations that happen when you hit them. They always look really shocked and like sort of face the camera, you know, this, oh no, I've taken damage, like kind of reaction almost. It's extremely endearing. And it shows right off the bat, like, okay, whoever made this gives a shit, especially since your own character has the same type of hit animation, and all the various transformations have their own hit animation too. And when you think about it that way, this game is actually really impressive with the details they managed to do on an 8-bit system when pretty much no other game out there was doing stuff like this the way this game was. And again, I played this in the year of our Lord 2000, 2000, and this shit was still impressive to me even deep into the Dreamcast era. That's how well this holds up, and it's still impressive today. And I would be remiss if I didn't mention my favorite thing about this game. The shopkeeper character is a pig, an anthropomorphic pig, wearing a horizontal striped shirt, and he's smoking a cigarette, and he's wearing an eye patch. It's a pirate smoking pig, basically. You just can't get better than that, folks. You can't. He might be the best NPC of all time. I don't know his name. I don't even know if he has a name, but I would love to meet him in real life in video game land. Anyway, back to level design. I think where this game really shines the best is in its dungeon areas. I'm a big freak for Zelda 2, and Wonder Boy 3 might be the only game to ever scratch the same itch that those Zelda 2 dungeons give me. You have all these doors and corridors and places to look around, and you know, you find stuff in a way that doesn't really feel confusing at all. You know, much like Zelda 2, this game doesn't have a map either. So you're just kind of flying by the seat of your pants and just exploring around. And it feels very fun to master these dungeons. Try to keep your health up the best you can and get to that boss and smash them. Which is all to say, these dungeons aren't out here to trick you. You know, there's no puzzles or any vague or cryptic elements of any kind, really. And it's not that I dislike those things in games, but I'm glad Wonder Boy 3 doesn't have them. Because that's not really the vibe here. This game is pretty easy and breezy, honestly, and bogging you down with physical puzzles or jump puzzles or whatnot just doesn't feel correct. Looking at you, Monster Boy in the Cursed Kingdom. Anyway, yeah, that's why Wonder Boy 3 comes together into basically a masterpiece for me. You have the overworld exploration, getting all your exploration jollies in this no pressure environment, basically. And then you have the dungeons where the pressure is on to perform, or you're going to die or be kicked back all the way to town. And you got to make that walk of shame back to the dungeon, and it's humiliating. But when you consider that, and the sprite work and the animations, this game simply hits on every front. No one singular thing stands out as exceptional, but all of them together create this masterwork for me. And the music is also pretty iconic. It's really good. I'm not much of a fan of the Master System sound chip. I guess it sounds better with the FM sound unit, but we didn't have that here. That's something I obviously found out about later. But they make the most of the Master System here, and it's great. Not really much more to say about it than that. You're just going to have to hear it for yourself. And I hope you do hear it for yourself, because I want everyone to play this game. And I think that's what I'll wrap this up with by saying this. I'll leave it on this note. As much praise as Wonder Boy 3 has gotten retroactively by people like me who played it later in life, and it's rightfully regarded as a classic now and maybe the best Master System game, I don't think that's enough. I think this game is still severely underrated and underappreciated. And you know what? Maybe that's just what it's going to have to be. Maybe it's just never going to be something that gets enough recognition, but it really should. And it sucks that it doesn't. It really sucks. And that's why I wanted to do this episode today, because I genuinely believe every single person who likes video games can get something out of this game. I really believe that. And I never say that. I never really do blanket recommendations for games, because everyone's different. Everyone likes different shit. Everyone dislikes different shit. You know, Wonder Boy 3, I think, can be the game that cuts through. I do. So if you have not played Wonder Boy 3, The Dragon's Trap, and you're listening to this, I implore that you do. I cannot see a way where you would not have a good time with a game this well designed, this charming, and this wonderful. And if you do, let me know about it on social media on Blue Sky. But until then, thanks for listening and happy gaming.
Do you find yourself playing older games and wishing that there were new discussions about those games? Enter Tales from the Backlog. Hi, I'm Dave Jackson, and on each episode, I'm joined by a guest to break down those games that may be stuck in your ever-expanding backlog. Each episode looks at one game in depth, focusing on mechanics, story, music, and other aspects with no spoilers until a clearly marked spoiler wall in the middle. If you've played the game, go ahead and climb that spoiler wall and enjoy in-depth story discussions, and if not, jump out when we warn you and maybe go play that game for yourself. We have over 100 episodes in the feed, everything from Disco Elysium to Tunic to discussion episodes about how to get into horror games, and if games actually need to be fun, or if they have more to offer. I guarantee that there's something in there for everybody. Once again, that's Tales from the Backlog, available wherever your podcasts are found.
CPOV. CertainPOV.com.